Hey everyone, Alexa here from the blog theduvallhomestead.com. Join me for another video where I take you along and cook for my family of 4 and do a little bit of simple and beautiful homemaking too. So let's dive right in. See you. When I think about a simple, cozy, beautiful home, I think about something handmade. So this can be a flower arrangement because you went out and picked flowers, or it could be something you sewed. It could be something you've organized, like a closet or a cabinet or your spice jars. I'm going to be showing you more of that later in this video. Looking around and seeing things that are handmade brings joy to my face, especially when I'm the one that made it. And I also think it actually looks better when someone can tell something is handmade. The little imperfect details make someone feel right at home when they are with you. We've had a few really warm days, and whenever it's nice out, I try to spend the entire day outside. This day in particular, we were just outside from morning until night, and we have a lot of flowers, some of which we have bought, some of which are just growing on our property. And I thought it was time to go ahead and just cut them. So we're cutting some greenery, we're cutting some flowers. This is the first flower arrangement we've made of the summer. And I love making flower arrangements in the summertime. Bringing flowers inside the house is a great way to warm up your space. It's very simple, it's oftentimes free, especially if you've got flowers in your backyard. But don't let not having flowers stop you from making flower arrangements. You could literally use weeds or bushes, anything around your house. You would be surprised with how pretty it looks when you do put it in a vase. It doesn't have to be a beautiful cut flower. Here you go, that's yours. This is our back patio. We finally are able to pull out the cushions, which I'm so thrilled about. We usually eat all of our meals, if we can, but especially lunchtime, we'll spend out here on the patio when the weather is nice. My husband built this couch last year, and I shared plans for that on the blog and YouTube channel, so I'll try to link those below. He also built a patio cover, which really helps shade us from the intense sun of the first half of the day, which is what we get in the backyard. So coming inside now, I'm making a new recipe that I'm so excited about, and this is sourdough sandwich bread. Sourdough sandwich bread tastes exactly like the old-fashioned bread that you may have had as a kid, like Wonder Bread, like the not the good stuff, like the cheap stuff. I mean, maybe you think it's good, I don't know, depending on how you define good. But it tastes like a guilty pleasure, put it that way. It's super sour, it's moist, it's buttery, and it's so good. And the best part is that it's made with all natural ingredients and sourdough starter, so it's actually healthy for you. I do add 1 tablespoon of sugar to this recipe, but you could omit it if you wanted to, or you could try honey, but I like to feed it to my baby, so I'm omitting the honey for now. But point being, it's just the texture and the fluffiness and the sour that is just so good. So this recipe just got posted on the blog, theduvallhomestead.com, so you can head on over there and print it out. I'm gonna be making this sourdough sandwich bread every single week from now on. Another way to create a cozy, beautiful home is through routines. And routines can be a laundry routine, or it can be a cleaning routine. But don't forget about routines such as bread making, or a smoothie in the morning, or even coffee. Those routines mean a lot, and you don't really know how much they do mean until you don't have them. My husband was gone last week on a business trip, and we changed a lot of routines because he wasn't around. And it just made me appreciate the routines that we do have, even though sometimes you might feel like things are boring and they are just the same old thing every day, but they work and they actually are very, very beautiful. So I encourage you to find beauty in those very, very simple routines. I want to take a quick break from today's video to thank the sponsor, which is Quince Bed Sheets. Investing in your bed, especially when you're buying organic bedding, means that you will sleep not only comfortably, not only beautifully, but also without toxins touching your skin. I never really realized the importance of this until I started Googling things like permanent press and different materials that are used in bedding, and realized that formaldehyde is used and so many toxins like that. I've been on the hunt for organic bedding for a really long time, and I've tried a lot of different kinds. I really like Quince because they have a big variety of fabrics. They have an excellent price point, being the lowest on the market that I have found for organic bedding without compromising quality. Currently, we are using the Quince linen bed sheets. I love the fabric, I love the design. They honestly get softer with every wash, so we're really enjoying them. Every single time I do laundry, they get better and better. Quince linen bed sheets are made with high quality European linen. They are Oeko-Tex Standard 100 certified without the use of harmful chemicals or pesticides. They have a beautiful fitted sheet with deep pockets, so putting the fitted sheet on the mattress is very easy. Every single corner has a nice deep pocket so you don't have to tug and pull at it. When I am creating a beautiful, cozy home, I like to think about how to keep things simple and easy for me without compromising them being beautiful too, and Quince linen bed sheets does that for me. Having a newborn baby or even a toddler occasionally in our bed, I want to make sure that their sheets are super clean. I care about what's touching my skin, and I also care about what's touching their skin. Check out Quince at the link below so you can see how you can turn your home into something simple and beautiful without compromising on quality, keeping it organic and natural and non-toxic. So now we are on to placing those flowers in the home, and I'm starting with our bedroom. Another point I wanted to make about creating beauty in your home is that beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, right? You've heard that phrase. And it's important to remember that you can find beauty in just about everything. And just when you think you don't have, you need X, Y, and Z, or you just need more of anything, more money, more time, more stuff, I encourage you to just flip that thinking around and try to see the beauty in what you currently already have. Because it's always there. Every time I've ever tried to do that, I have found it in a way that's been surprising to me. I have an uncle who had a really long, successful career as a winemaker, and he said something that has stuck with me my entire life. He told this to me when I was a kid, like a teenager, because I would actually sip the wine as a teenager, not like a glass, but like a sip, because wine was so important to my family. And so he said something really interesting. He made really expensive wine, and he would have us taste test the wine. Of course, it was mostly my parents, but I did get to try some when I was a kid. And then, of course, as an adult, he actually supplied the wine for our wedding. Anyway, that's a different story. But he said he would have us taste test the wine and say, do you like this wine? And we'd be like, yes or no. And then we'd try another wine. He'd be like, do you like this wine? Yes or no. And then sometimes, in fact, oftentimes, the wine that we really liked was the cheaper one. And so it just goes to show that it's not about the price. It's about if you like it or not. And he would always say the same thing, even though he made a very expensive wine and he knew everything about wine and was just a very famous, I'm pretty sure he made it in the wine, that big wine magazine, Wine Today, is that what it's called? Anyway, he just knew everything about wine. And he even admitted, he said, the best wine is the one that you like, or the one that you're currently drinking, right? But the one that you like. And it doesn't matter how much it costs. You may not like it. And I encourage you to think about that perspective for your home as well. We are making French toast this morning with that new sourdough sandwich bread. And you guys, this was the most decadent, amazing breakfast of all time. Talk about simplicity. I have a French toast recipe that I've been making for years, and I think I just made it up. I'm sure I used to follow a recipe, but it's been so long since I actually looked up a French toast recipe, because I got to the point of just needing to make French toast quickly when I had kids. So I thought, what ingredients does French toast really need? And all French toast really needs is egg and milk. That's the bare bones, and then you add your flavoring. So this is just egg, milk, maple syrup for the sweetener, and then some cinnamon spice. Now I also add chocolate chips to the skillet, which is one of my favorite things. This recipe is coming to the blog, but I basically just told it to you already. Making that with any sourdough bread would be delicious, but doing it with my sourdough sandwich bread was that much better. So now for lunch, I am making chicken thighs. You've probably seen me make this on my channel before. I've been experimenting quite a bit with making chicken thighs in the cast iron skillet. I'm trying to make them taste like fried chicken. And this day, after making this about probably 4 or 5 times, I finally really succeeded at making, quote, fried chicken, because I'm not actually frying it in any oil. So I'm making an egg wash with egg and lemon. in one bowl, and then I put einkorn flour, salt, and spices in the second bowl. I dip the chicken in the egg wash and the flour. And by the way, I've done this with chicken breast as well as these chicken legs. I saute these on the skillet in a bunch of butter. And then this is the really fun part, is I like to add anything around the chicken. So you can add mushrooms, onion, garlic, carrots. So this day I had a bunch of leftovers and I just added the leftovers. I had leftover cauliflower, I had leftover carrots. So you're seeing a whole bunch of veggies here, but really anything you have on hand would be fine there. You do have to cook this in the oven a little bit, I find, because once you crispen up the outside, it's not quite done yet on the inside. So this is not a fast meal to make, but it is well worth the wait. And I'm just gonna pop this other clip in here because I ended up filming this a couple different times. But here's another version of the same recipe, only with rosemary and sage and mushrooms and potatoes. So just to encourage you to get creative, just keep adding butter and spices and you'll be fine.
Just like KFC.
It's like KFC?
Yeah.
When was the last time you had KFC?
Never.
And speaking of spices, it was time for me to reorganize our spice rack. I find that I have a lot of spices that I use quite often, and I was using like a washable marker on the glass spice jar, which I really, really enjoyed doing that. But I don't know if it's just because my free time is just slimmer and slimmer like these days. But I got tired of having to rewrite it because I would often hold these spice jars with wet hands and it would mess up the label. So I decided to go ahead and just make a printable label, and that's exactly what I did. And this checks the box for me for a homemade item and a routine-based item to keep my home very simple. Okay, my last tip, if you will, for creating a cozy, beautiful home is a warm breakfast. And this is just because if you're a parent, you know it's hard to get a warm meal. I try to serve my husband his breakfast warm every single morning. Today we're making sourdough toast and fried eggs, which is just the most basic, delicious breakfast of all time. If we are tight on time, this is my go-to. It's got protein, it's got sourdough bread, it's got butter, healthy fat. Of course, I also make a kefir smoothie. You just saw me filling up the kefir there with fresh raw milk. So we do a raw milk kefir smoothie, which has banana and mango, pineapple, strawberries, and blueberries in it. I also put fermented cod liver oil in there. Sometimes I add a protein and a vegetable powder. Breakfast is one of my favorite meals of the day. All right, well, thank you for joining me in this video where I talked about creating a cozy, beautiful home and took you along as I was cooking for my family. Don't forget to check out the beautiful bedding options that Quince has to offer at the link below. If you're brand new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Every week I post a new video like this on farm-to-table recipes and homemade natural living. Thank you so much for stopping by the Duvall Homestead.